All right, all right. What's up, what's up? Let's get into this. We're going to be solving percent problems. And what that is we're going to be using percent and given an amount, and we have to figure out what that is. So again, we're going to find the percentage of an amount and figure out, either calculating or estimating, what that is. Let's do some examples to show you a little bit better. You know what? I feel like bringing this bad boy out again. Let's do it. Bam! There we go. Deal with it. All right, so here's the question, and we're going to solve this together. All right. 50% of the students in the class were behaving very well. In a class of 26 students, how many students were behaving very well? Well, 50%, that's actually pretty high. So I'll take that. That's great. All right, there's 3 ways that we can do this. So let's break this down again. Here's the introduction. 50% of students in a class were behaving very well. Okay, 50%. In a class of 26, that's some information. Now here's the question. How many students were behaving very well? Now there's 3 ways that we can answer this. Let's talk about those 3 ways. So the first way we can do it is use a number line. And the second way we can do it is to take the percentage, turn it into a fraction, then divide it. Let's go through both of these steps. So this strategy, number 1, use a number line. So if I took a number line and just did one really quickly over here, just like this, and let's say over here is 0 students, over here is 26 students, and now we know percentages. If this is 0% of the number line, and this is 100% of the number line, where would 50% be? Well, you guessed it, it would be halfway through here. So this is 50%. So what would be half of 26? What's half of 26? All right, the answer would be 13. All right, let's get over to the second strategy over here. Let me move this up and let's start fresh with the second strategy. We're turning that from a percent to a fraction, and then we're going to divide, and it's usually going to be dividing by 100. So let's even put that here. We're going to divide usually by 100. That's almost all the time. What was the fraction that we were just talking about? Sorry, the percentage. If you remember, it was 50%. So that's the percentage that we're talking about. Now, 50% is out of 100, so let's change that into a fraction, because this part here, taking the percentage, turning it into a fraction. So let's take this percent into a fraction. Can you guys shout out what it's supposed to be? Ooh, you guys are too loud. You got it. 50 out of 100. Okay. Do you remember what the number of students we were trying to figure out? If you said 26 students, that's correct. So whatever, I don't fit. Students. Whatever you're trying to figure out, whether it's, I don't know, milliliters or jugs of water, here we're using students. We're using 26 students. What is half of it? Let's do the math now. So we're going to now multiply 50 and 26. And then we're going to divide it by 100. So do you guys happen to know what 50 times 26 is? I'll give you guys a second. I'll write it down here. How did I get this number? 50 times 26 is now 1,300. And then this 100 here, it goes right there. So this is the new fraction. Like I said, the strategy is taking a percent, turning it into a fraction, which is this, and then turning that into, and dividing that. And what did I say you were dividing it by? 100. Okay. So now let's divide it by 100. And if you know the trick, you're basically just moving decimal places. So 100 here, if you've got 2 zeros here, you can eliminate 2 decimal places by doing that? The answer is 13. Or, in other words, 13.0, which is 13. That's the same answer that we got before and the same answer we get now. If we were to do something like, let's go back to the top and use this strategy. Let's just refresh the strategy. Percent to fraction, then divide, usually by 100. Percent is what we started with, 50% students. How many students? 26. So 50 turned into a fraction. Our fraction was 50 over 100. Multiply the 26 students so we can get this fraction over here, which turned into 1,300 or 1,300, and then you divide it by 100. And the answer would be, you can even just put it here, answer is 13. It takes some practice to do the second one, but it's well worth it, especially for your summative coming up. So let's go back to this. Let me eliminate some of these questions or this stuff here because we already know about 13 and let's leave the 100 there. Oh, it brought everything back. Okay. Now, what if I changed it? What if the question said 10%? So let's cross this out. What if it said 10% of students? Can we do a combination of both? Actually, let's just do the second one. Let's change this percentage into a fraction and then dividing it. 10% of 26 students. So 10% of 26 students. Let's put SS. 10% of 26 students. Let's change this into a fraction. So this is going to go down here. 10 out of 100. How do we get that fraction? Because a percent is always out of 100. And we can say, let's choose another color, of 26 students. 10 of 100, 10% of 26 students. Now let's continue to do the math, because what did I say? We're going to multiply. Let's just rewrite this out again. 10 times 26. If it helps you, you can even multiply across, and we'll just do this. And if you multiply it across, you're just multiplying this by that and this by that. So 10 would then be 260 over 100 times 1, 100. Perfect. Let's move this over here. Now, we're going to divide this right here. So let's divide 260 by 100. And like I said before, you can start with a decimal place and say that there's 2 zeros here. And you take from this side, like take the elevator up, doot, 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 and 2 zeros here. So the answer, 10% of 26, the answer is 10% of 26 students is 2.6 students. So that means I took 2 students, chopped a little bit off of another student, to make 0.6. So 2.6 students. And that's actually the answer. 2.6 is 10% of 26. So if we went back here, 10% is 2.6. And that would make sense because if we went 20, 30, 40 all the way here, and you kept adding 2.6, and you did 10 of these all the way here, you would eventually end up with 26 whole head-to-toe students. Hopefully that helped.